अंधस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीधन्वन्तरये नमः। सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः। अस्मिन् अवसरे संस्कृतविभागाय अभिनन्दनं कर्तुमिच्छामि अहम्। अहं मम आचार्याणां कृतज्ञो अस्मि यत् ते मम विचारान् प्रस्तुतीकर्तुम् अवसरं दत्तवन्तः। I would like to throw some light on topic of ancient methods of research which has been given in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is an ancient Indian system of medicine which comes under one of the dimensions of Indian knowledge system. And in this Indian knowledge system lecture series, I would like to throw light on ancient methods of research through my lecture of next 30 minutes. So we'll go through it. Like we have, like this is in line with my PhD topic, which I'm doing PhD. The title of my PhD thesis is Critical Study of Ancient Methods of Research with special reference to Brihatrayee. That is three major treatises of Ayurveda. You might be knowing about Charak Samhita, Shushruta Samhita, and Vagbhat Samhita, that is Ashtanga Hriday. So whichever methods of research are given in those Brihatrayee have been critically analyzed and presented in my thesis. So, all of you know about research. Research is considered to be the movement from the known to the unknown, right? Whatever through our research study, we try to bridge a gap between known and unknown things. I tried to define research in the way like it's a journey from idea, which should be novel, to hypothesis, that is systematic formulation of an idea or research problem, and to thesis, that is valid conclusion finally. So research can be considered as a journey from an idea to hypothesis and to thesis finally. The definition of research given in book, you know about a systematic way to find an answer to a question or solution to a problem. So it can be a basic research when you try to find out answer to a question, or it can be an applied research when you try to find out solution to a problem. But the important thing here is systematic way. Systematic way gives if systematic way, this term is emphasized in the definition of research. So why? Because the difference between the research and other ways of finding or obtaining answers or finding facts lies in the process, and it is systematic way. So the definition or the quote which I like the most about research is research has been called a good business, a necessity, a gamble, a game. It is none of this. It is a state of mind. So research is a state of mind that you have to learn skills to research to throw light on a new topic. What is research methodology? Because research follows a scientific way of establishing fact. We say that. Then scientific method. Scientific way, we follow scientific method in research. So what is scientific? The scientific method is a systematic step-by-step procedure following the logical process of reasoning. Like you might be knowing about inductive method of reasoning and deductive method of reasoning. These methods are applied when you perform any task in a stepwise manner. That is called as a scientific method. So, in short, it can be called research can be considered as an art of scientific investigation. Research methodology is a way systematically solve the research problem, because in the beginning you will be having research problem and you will be trying to find out the answer, but it has to be done systematically. The way which you follow, that will be called as a research methodology, or it is a science of studying how research is done scientifically. And for research methodology, we apply research methods. Means what? In one research methodology, we'll be applying various methods to find out answer to a question or solution to a problem. So all those methods which are used by the researcher during the course of studying his research problem are called as a research method. So this research method, we already said that this is, if it is scientific, then it implies an objective, logical, and systematic method. Why scientific method is to be applied? For global acceptance of your research, of your findings. So that is about general research methodology, research methods. We'll go further as why Ayurveda. Means I have told you about research methodology in general, contemporary sciences also, which we use. Ayurveda. Ayurveda is considered to be a science of life. So Ayurveda is the most ancient science of life and health. Its antiquity goes to Veda. Means what? Ayurveda is considered as a Panchama Veda, or it is the Upaveda. Mostly it is considered as an Upaveda of Atharva Veda. So there is one verse in Ayurveda, Charaka Samhita, that Hetulinga Oshadhanam Swastatur Paranam Trisutram Shashwatam Punyam Bhubudeyam Pitamaha. Means what? What is given in this Bruhatrayi, or what is given in the ancient text of Ayurveda? Three things are there. Hetu, that is etiological factors, Linga, that is signs and symptoms of a disease, and Aushadha, treatment of a disease. So these things have been given in Ayurveda, text of Ayurveda. And why is it required? Because health. Because aims of Ayurveda are considered as a swasthasya swasthya parikshanam, aturasya vikara prashanam. And for that, why health is important, it is given in Charak Samhita again, that dharmartha kama mokshanam arogya mulamuttamam rogatasyapahartarah shreyaso jivitasya cha. So health is important to achieve four goals of life, like dharma, artha, kam, and moksha. So that is about Ayurveda and Ayurveda philosophy. Like we teach Ayurveda, or we learn Ayurveda in with or we compare Ayurveda with other darshan shastra, mainly Shad darshan shastra that we have, Indian philosophy, and philosophy of life is discussed in those darshan shastra and also in Ayurveda Samhita also. So, database of knowledge creation and its classification gives a definite structure to any literature, but it needs a proper research methodology, without which the structure is incomplete. The Samhitakaras have followed certain research methods and methodologies, and to gain clear knowledge of Ayurveda and to apply it in practice, means what, as knowledge as well as application, it was necessary to search for scientific devices or methods of approach. It highlights that research people must have used, or the ancient Samhitakaras, they must have used some research methods in preparing those Samhita. But there are some references in Bruhatari, as one of the references according to Acharya Shushruta, अमीमांसानि अचिंत्यानि प्रसिद्धानि स्वभावता आगमेन उपयोज्यानि भेषयानि विचक्षणैः प्रत्यक्ष लक्षण फला प्रसिद्धाश्च स्वभावतः न औषधि हेतुभिः विद्वान् परीक्षेत कदाचन. What does it mean? They say that the drugs which mode of action is indisputable, inexplicable, and which are well known by their users should be used by the intelligent physician on the basis of aptopadesha, agama. The drugs and properties and actions of which are evident and which are well known by their nature need not to be tested for their mode of action and causation by the wide amimamsani or chintyani. Some suspicious thing is over here. Or Acharya Vagbhat says that idam agama siddhatva pratyaksha faladarshanat mantravat samprayoktavyam na mimamsya padachana. He says that since information described in the text, like we are taking information from this ancient text up to people, apta vakyam pramanam, like so, these should not be administered without discussion. This should be administered without discussion. You need not to go in discussion. You should not need not to go for critical analysis of these things. You can accept those things as it is given. But the search for the facts can be done in arbitrary ways or scientific method. You must be knowing about that. Arbitrary and scientific method. It is based on some opinions, beliefs, customs, and all. But in research, we follow scientific method. The above quotations, which I mentioned in my presentation, one may get impression that knowledge of science of Ayurveda is based on arbitrary method of search for truth, but this is not at all true, actually. In contrary, Ayurveda is the science of medicine, which adopts critical scientific approach or scientific method to acquire knowledge. So, research in Ayurveda, it is the characteristic of modern era that there is no place for blind faith or arbitrary way of approach in tradition and authority of Shastra. Therefore, faith has been replaced by skepticism, and it is required to go for scientific inquiry for this truth. Like the author of The Science of Hindu Medicine, respected Henry R. Zimmer says, there lurks a secret truth from which modern research might take its flight toward a new insight. And that is the point we have think in this lecture series of Indian knowledge system. So what is the research problem over here? This has become need of an hour to validate these secret truths or ancient methods of research by their critical study, and obviously to go on comparing these methods with modern methods of research. It is required to show the applicability of these ancient methods of research in present era, how these ancient methods of research are used in contemporary research work also in various fields of research confined to Ayurveda, such as fundamental, literary, clinical, and drug research. So, the traditionally established truth need to be validated in scientific manner so that we can establish Ayurveda as a science which contributes to the broad Indian research methodology and scientific Indian knowledge system. So, going towards which research methods are there in Ayurveda? We have various research methods, ancient research methods as Pramana Vigyan, Vada Marga, Dashvidha Pariksha Bhav, Tantra Yukti, Vaidya Vritti, Vaidya Guna, and various Nyay or maxims. First of all, Pramana. Pramanam. Charkacharya has used word pariksha rather than pramana at most places. That the definition of pariksha as parikshate, vyavasthapyate, vastu swarupam, anaya iti pariksha. These pramanas are not only useful in Roga and Rogi Pariksha, but also evident of critical scientific approach of Ayurveda. Like we have various pramana in Ayurveda at two instances, Chaturvidha Pariksha. Chaturvidha Pariksha, Aptopadesh, Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Yukti. If you see that now it goes from Aptopadesh to Yukti, logical thinking or rational thinking, or Trividha Roga Vishesh Vidyan, where for the examination of disease, three pramanas have been used, Aptopadesh, Pratyaksha, and Anuman. Here, you might be knowing about Bloom's taxonomy, which is used for, we are talking about only here mainly cognitive domain, about knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. And here we have Chaturvidha Pramana as, or Chaturvidha Pariksha as Aptopadesh, Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Yukti. It shows intellectual development of human mind. See, the intellectual development, it occurs from first we gain knowledge from Aptopadesh, then Pratyaksha, then Anuman, and Yukti, where you go for synthesis. You are going to create your own text, or you are going to evaluate the critical evaluation of a text which is written by others. There you require Yukti Praman. So it shows the intellectual development of human mind, human brain in this way, if you go from Aptopadesh to Yukti. Then we have next is Vada Marga. Vada Marga, which are given in 8th chapter of Vimanasthan, Roga Vishakchitya Vimanadhyay. Here, I would like to tell you about Shastra Jnanopay. Charkacharya has given Trividha Shastra Jnanopay as Adhyayan, Adhyapan, and Tadvidya Sambhasha. Tadvidya Sambhasha, I mean discussions, can be done in two ways, let it Sandhya Sambhasha and Vigruhya Sambhasha. Sandhya Sambhasha are friendly discussions, whereas Vigruhya Sambhasha are hostile discussions or debates will be there. In debates, obviously you want to win over your opponent, you want to defeat your opponent. There you have to use some tactics to defeat your opponent, and there they have given this Vada Marga and Dashvidha Pariksha Bhav. One of them is Vada Marga. Vada Marga are meant to make oneself perfect in the art of debate or discussion, to improve oratory power needed to educate others by oral means, or to communicate with the patient or community regarding healthcare system. So Vadamarga 44 in number. We are not going to see all, but you can see over here Vadamarga Pratidnya, Sthapana, Hetu, Dushtanta, Upanay, Nigaman, or we have Shat Padartha, Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesh, Samvaya, Pramana are there, Pratyaksha, Manumana, Maiti, Upamya. So these Vadamarga have been explained in Charaka Samhita. The definition of Vad which is given in Charak Samhita is very beautiful. Tatra Vado Namasya Yat Parena Saha Shastra Purvakam Vigruhya Kathayati. An academic discussion with a contending opponent is called as a Vad, which can be of two types, Jalpo and Vitanda. Tatra Paksha Shritayor Vachanam Jalpa, Jalpa Viparya Vitanda, which is necessary in discussions and debates. Then Sthapana, you must be knowing about, we use Imrat structure while writing scientific articles. Imrat structure, which is given by Dr. Bradford Hill. Hill's question, 5 questions like introduction, methods, results, and discussion. Earlier, they used to write the text in this manner, like they used to give Sthapana, Nama Tasya Pratidnya, Panchavi Vakya, Pratidnya, Hetu, Drishtanta, Upanay, and Nigaman will be there to write a, and or you want to prove any your point, like it is given that Yatha Akasham Hetu Akrutakatvat Iti Drishtanta Yatha Nitya. What is the statement Pratijna is there, Nitya Purusha iti Pratijna. And that is my statement or hypothesis. Hetu akrutakatvat दृष्टांत यथा आकाशमिति उपनय यथा च अकृतम आकाशम तच्च नित्यम तथा पुरुष इति निगमनम तस्मात् नित्येति hence proved that nitya purushah. This is the how we try to prove our point by using this methodology. It comes under Pararthanuman also. Then definition of Siddhanta given by Charakacharya is very, very important. That Charakacharya says, Siddhanto nama sayah parikshakahi bhavidam pariksha hetudicha sadhitva stapyate sa nirnay. Siddhanta is the conclusion established by scientists, investigators after testing in several ways and on proving it with reasoning. Means what? Here he highlights Siddhanta parikshakahi bhavidam pariksha. Mean reproducibility there, replicability there, as well as hetubichya sadhaitva, rationality should be there. Both the point reproducibility and rationality should be there when you want to propose any statement or when you want to establish any fact or conclusion, come to conclusion, which can be of four types like Sarvatantra Siddhanta, Pratitantra Siddhanta, Adhikaran Siddhanta, Abhyukama Siddhanta. This Abhyukama Siddhanta can be considered as a formulation of hypothesis that we do. At some point of time, we accept the things which may be proved or disproved after some other research works also. So that is about Siddhanta, which is also one of the important research methods given in Ayurveda. Then we come to Dashavida Pariksha Bhav. And I have already told you that the tax which one should have or one should acquire to defeat the opponent in debates or Vigruya Sambhasha are called as the Dashavida Pariksha Bhav. Dashvida, one was Vadamarga, another was Dashvida Pariksha Bhav. Dashvida Pariksha Bhav are important. The desired objective, like planning, like three major steps involved in research are planning, operation, and reporting. And planning is very important because planning means what? Deciding in advance. And where we go for this Dashvida Pariksha Bhav, 10 points of investigation, which are necessary for accomplishment of tasks without intellectual boundary. Then these are Charkacharya only says that Jnanapurvakam karmanam samarambham prashansanti kushalaha. And these 10 points are there like Karana, Karana, Karyoni, Karya, Karyafala, Anubandha, Desha, Kala, Pravritti Upayan, Samyak Abhinivartamanam, Karyabhinivritto, Ishtaphalanubandham, Karyam Abhinivartayanti, Anati Mahata Yatnena Karta. Anati Mahata Yatnena Karta is very important. Why is planning important in any research process? It is highlighted by this statement. Then in one of my published research article in IU International Journal, which is in PubMed Index Journal, where I try to give that import this Dashavida Pariksha Bhav, how they are useful in treatment and how they are useful in research. It has already been given in that paper. This table is there. Means Karana, Bhishak. In research, it will be a researcher. All these points have been elaborated in that paper. Then we have Tantra Yukti. Tantra Yukti is known to everyone over here, which is one of the important tools for literary research. The knowledge of Tantra Yukti is considered to be the pathway to reach the goal of literary research. Are useful in clinical research also, can be compared with the principles of statistics also, right? We can use in statistics where there are Tantra Yuktis which are useful in statistical biostatistics also. युक्ति, what is युक्ति? युक्तिश्च योजना यातु युज्यते और बुद्धि पश्यति या भावान बहुकारण योगजान युक्ति कला सान्याति वर्गम साध्यते या. These are the definitions given by Charkacharya at various places. So Ayurveda is considered as a medical science which is Shastra. When Shastra, it should be rational and pre-tested. So Yukti helps for rational inference based on direct observation or of experiments or tests. So Tantra Yukti in Shushruta Samhita 32 Tantra Yukti are given, whereas in Charak Samhita 36 Tantra Yukti are given. Then Bhatta Chandra added 4 Tantra Yukti and 40 Tantra Yukti are there in Ayurveda text also. There are Uddesha Nirdesh. If we take example of first Uddesha Nirdesh, Charak Samhita, the whole Charak Samhita is written in Uddesha Nirdesh format. Uddesha, Samasa Vachanam Uddesh and Vistara Vachanam Nirdesh. Means first, Charkacharya has given in one statement, first statement it will be Uddesh, and then he go on elaborating the things in detail. Prayojanam has been given like Vina Prayojanam na Murkhopi Pravartate. So everywhere, Prayojan of Shastra, Prayojan of text, Prayojan of chapter, Prayojan of Sthana, everywhere it is given in text and in also the commentaries of those texts also. Then Atitavikshanam, Anagatavikshanam, Nidarshanam, all these Tantrayukti have been used and which are useful in contemporary research also. So, importance of Tantrayukti, as Charkacharya says, यथा अम्बुजवनस्यार्कः प्रदीपो वेश्मणो यथा प्रबोधन प्रकाशार्थाः तथा तंत्रस्य युक्तयः. As the lotus blossoms in ponds in the presence of sunlight, the dark house enlightened by the lamp, in the same way, is Tantrayukti help to understand the details in holistic way, that is Prabodhana and Prakashana. So then we have various methods, Vaidya Guna and Vaidyukti. Means what? When you compare, Vaidya can be in research, he can be considered as a research, like Shrute Paryavada Tattvam Bhusho Dushta Karmata Daksham Sauchamiti Nayam Vaidya Guna Chatushtayam. So as theoretical knowledge, practical experiences, skillfulness, or alertness, hygiene or ethical principles, the person will be with ethical principles. As these points are applicable to Vaidya, these all qualities or attributes are applicable to a researcher also. So these can be compared with Jnata, Shastrita, Yukta, Pradhanam, Vishwagatratu. So all these qualities are applicable to a researcher also. And then last point as various Nyaya maxims like Charaka Samhita or in various Samhitas, Nyaya, Laukika Nyaya have been explained now, or the concepts have been explained with the help of maxims or Nyaya as Gunakshar Nyaya, Go Balivardha Nyaya, Gachatino Gachanti Nyaya and all. Then they have made it is easier to understand the concept by use of this, means which can be useful in literary research. So we have seen that Pramana Vigyan, Vada Marga, Dashveda Pariksha Bhav, Tantra Yukti, this Vaidya Guna Vaidya Vritti, and various Nyaya or maxims are considered to be the ancient methods of research given in Ayurvedic texts. So, it is an essential task to validate ancient methods of investigation or research given in Bruhatri, the major treatises of Ayurveda, and to compare those methods with modern methods of research. It is also necessary to show its applicability confined to Ayurveda, its ancient system of medicine, research in modern era. So I would like to how research methods and the scientific methods are given in Ayurveda, which can be proved by these two things. Like it is said by Charakacharya in Siddhistan second chapter as Tasmat Satyapi Nirdeshe Kuryat Uyya Swayam Dhiya Vina Tarkena Ya Siddhi Yadrucha Siddhi Revacha. Means what? Uhan is important in this case. Vina Tarkena. Even if you get success in your clinical practice, without tarka, without logical reasoning, it will be yadrucha siddhi. You have got success by fluke. If you want constant success or based on logical reasoning, uyya swayam dhiya means swayam dhiya. You have to apply your mind. If you have to apply your brain, you have to apply your intellect to get success in any work, and therefore research methods are evident by this. Like in research, we apply scientific methods, we apply our brain. What is research actually? Research means what? Thinking out of the box, but at the same time, it should be manageable within available resources. And now, while writing the text, that methodology, to develop methodology, they had to use some methods which are applicable in current era also, and they have their applicability in current era also. I tried to incorporate all these things in my presentation, and it is given in Charak Siddhistan 12th chapter. It is Charkacharya says that Yadi Hasti Tadanyatra Yanya Hasina Tatvachit. Means what? They say that it is they highlight the exclusivity of Ayurvedic text or Charaka Samhita. Means what? If the things which are given over here you can find out elsewhere, but the things which are not given here you won't find it elsewhere. Means what? They say that everything is given over here. If they state that is everything given over here, obviously research methods are there which can be explored by research work in further, which can be compared. So this is why is it required? Because we try to preserve our knowledge. We have to this jnana avyahata jnana prakriya, avyahata jnana prakriya, like we explain Ayurveda Uttaran, or we explain Maheshwari Sutra, how Maheshwari Sutra has come to us in Pranini. Like we try to show that that is avyahata process, avyahata kriya of this knowledge process, right? Indian knowledge system is also it has avyahata process. Means what? If we consider it starts from the Vedas, then 3,000 or 5,000 years back, it is going uninterrupted. And we have to, if by this lecture series, or by this we try to give this knowledge, or we just want to pass on knowledge to our next generation, so that why Bhagna Prushta Katigriva Baddha Prushtim Adhomukam Kashtina Likitam Shastram Yatnina Paripale. And I think this IKS lecture series organized by Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, is one of the attempt to preserve this knowledge by this lecture series. So that is about all about research methods in Ayurveda. Again, I am thankful to the whole Department of Sanskrit, University of Mumbai, my guide, respected Dr. Madhvi Narsale Madam, Dr. Shakuntala Gaude Madam, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.